Hi, everybody. My name is Gilbert Dola Garza. I'm a construction risk insurance specialist here at DLG Insurance Agency. I work with a lot of general contractors all over the state of Texas, some in Colorado, and then also, recently we got licensed in California as well. So I've been applying these skills for about 14 years, hence why I was able to get all these certifications and so on and so forth. The presentation today is about workers' compensation, a little bit about myself. I was with Liberty Mutual for about 6 years. Then I went to MetLife Securities, got my financial advising thing going, got my Series 6, 63, 65, and then I ended up leaving because I was more inclined to take care of people's property and casualty, meaning the insurance for business owners. I started Helix Insurance Group in 2016 through 19, ended up leaving that company, sold it to my partners, and then I regrouped, started my own insurance agency, 100% owned, and I'm presently DLG Insurance Agency. So the reason why I do everything that I do is right here. This is my family. Whatever I bring into the agency, it pays some of the bills, but ultimately it goes into my family, right? So the best investment that you can make is into your family. Workers' compensation insurance, Texas Mutual, they're one of my favorite companies because if you don't have any claims for a year, 2 years, 3 years, the check that they give you back, the dividend check, being that you're a member of the network, right? Of that network, Texas Mutual. It's not a stock company, it's a mutual company, meaning you're one of the owners. The premium that you pay in goes into the company. If they're very profitable, they issue you back a dividend check at the end of the year. So going into Texas Mutual, one of the insurance companies I have several because I am a broker, so I shop several different companies. I don't just stick you on one. I make sure that you get the best price for the best coverage. This right here is a declarations of what the insurance policy is and how that works for you. So the usual coverage required by any general contractor or big business, big construction company for workers' compensation is $1 million of liability. That's for any accident, any type of disease that one of your employees gets while on the policy. So your general liability, everybody has that. You got to get the general liability to make sure that nothing happens and that the project is covered. But what about the people working on the project? Your general liability policy doesn't cover that. Okay, so the workers' compensation protects you, the owner, right? Not the project, but the owner and the employees. So if something happens to you while you're on the job, you're covered by your workers' compensation. A little bit about the workers' compensation. Payroll is how it's calculated. So the more payroll you have, the more that you pay your employees or subcontractors. That is how workers' compensation is calculated. So general liability, right, which is the mecca. Everybody has to have general liability. General liability is based on how much revenue is brought into the company, right? But inside of that company, you have employees. So you want to insure that risk, make sure that they're covered. Now, I'm not talking about health insurance. I'm talking about workers' compensation. One of your employees gets hurt while on the job. That little piece right there is the payroll. Let's say it's $1.5 million, but your payroll is $500,000. This right here is how your workers' compensation is calculated, right? So as you can see here, there's a factor, right? That factor, all these little factors right here are multiplied per $100 that you're paying out, per $100. So if you have $290,000, it's $2,900 times the factor, and then that's how you get your rate. So scheduled modifier, I want to talk about that. Waiver of subrogation, I want to talk about that. And then there's a scheduled modifier, that's the risk score. On the EMOD is a factor that you earn based on no claims, not having any claims. And then healthcare network option, that's an option for you to pay less on the policy, right? Usually about 12 to 15% less. So, and then you got your premium. Nobody wants to pay that, but I'm gonna show you why it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary to have it, because if you don't pay for it on the front end, it's that $3,300. You're gonna pay for it on the back end when that dude falls off the roof, or you have a slip and fall in your office, or the ergonomics aren't right in your office and your employees start complaining about their hands, their back, their knee, blah, blah, blah. All right, so healthcare network, right? Usually it's good to use the healthcare network of the workers' compensation provider because there's cost savings for you, right? Usually about 12%. And then the quality and focused care, they go with certain in-network hospitals, doctors, physicians, pain and injury clinics, all that good stuff, because they already have the paperwork knocked out. Like it's already set up in the system on how to, document, follow up, follow through on all the paperwork to get you guys, to get the employee that got hurt recovered and returned to work as quickly as possible. If you have a key man in your company, right, or you have a project manager that manages a lot of projects, you want him boots on the ground back, because if you lose that employee, the productivity goes down. If productivity goes down, your income goes down, your revenue goes down, right? And what pumps through the company in order to make the company profitable? Revenue. And if you don't have the people, right, to pump that blood into the heart of the company, then you have no revenue, right? So you want to make sure you have this workers' compensation to get it done quicker, right? Lower claim costs. If you go to a private specialist, they'll try to gouge the employer for all of this money. They'll just knock them out, right? I mean, just overbill them. Let's just put it that way. And I've seen that happen. I'm not a fan of that, but I've seen it the other way around too. So that's where you have to call one of my trusted confidants in the event that it's not getting done right. And improve access to providers. They have a healthcare network in Texas that they got healthcare people everywhere. So they'll give you a list. You can go on the website, look to see who it is, or call your trusted agent like myself. I can give you a list. You call them, figure out who you want to go to based on zip code, so on and so forth. Streamlines claims process. So everything's streamlined. When you work with the healthcare network, boom, 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 everything gets done quicker, right? And usually there's more employee satisfaction in the event of a claim. Now, how does it work for the insureds and the general contractor, the waiver of subrogation? If you're on a construction project and then somebody gets hurt and then, they sue you for $600,000, but the insurance company pays that out, well, then they're going to try to come back to you for being negligent, right? So your insurance company will probably try to come back after you to subrogate for that money, because if it's a lot of money, they're going to want that, right? But if you have the waiver of subrogation, then it's not going to happen. So you can read all this, you can just listen to what I just said. Now the EMOD discount, right? I'm gonna just give you an example because it's a lot of verbal judo if I dish it out this way. The construction firm with high injury history might have like a EMOD of 1.3, increasing your premium to about, that's the modifier, right? The schedule modifier. It's up to 30%, right? But then you start implementing certain safety protocols and reducing claims, there's no claims, and so on and so forth. That cost will go down over time, right? And that's the modifier. It's all in the system. You can go to emod.com and look up your own if you already have a workers' compensation policy. And at the end of the day, you get a cheaper workers' compensation policy. Now, this is a guy who just fell off a roof while he was working. This is the guy after he fell off the roof and fell on the metal panels and busted his back open, right? So who are you gonna call if the workers' compensation policy doesn't pay out? Chidi. He's also in our BNI group. And this is the business owner after he got sued and he didn't have workers' compensation. Chidi's gonna get that money and get as much as he can out of that general contractor. And then this is the guy's face after he has remorse for not having workers' compensation. So, with all that being said, DLG Insurance Agency, my name is Gilbert Dola Garza. I got all the alphabet soup next to that, MBA, CRIS, LUTCF, all the good stuff. And I'm a commercial insurance, risk insurance specialist here at DLG Insurance Agency. Now I will open up the lines for questions.